What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Bafed, and this is my walkthrough of the Flashpoint Hammer Station. This is a Flashpoint that you get around level 17 or so. This was my first time through it. This is my Sith Inquisitor Sorcerer. He is level 22 at the time of this video. I believe he's a few more levels now, but not a big deal. So this was my first time through. I recorded it, decided I will just do a little walkthrough for you guys in case anybody's getting stuck with this. It's pretty simple. The last boss is the only one that's you kind of need some strategy involved with it, but the other two bosses are pretty straightforward. But it's pretty easy as long as you stick to the plan, have a good mix of people. You need a tank, a healer obviously, and 2 DPSs, and preferably one of the DPS people will be a backup healer. You'll need an extra healer for the last boss. He puts out a pretty nasty dot, so you'll need a little extra healing help on that last boss. So as you continue through the Hammer Station, you'll run into some heroic, elite type enemies every once in a while. Nothing too dangerous. There's not like a big mob of them or anything. Just onesie twosies here and there. Pretty easy. We gain quite a bit of loot all the way through, so not too bad as far as having your enemies drop some pretty decent stuff. We wiped a few times on the very last boss, but other than that, not a problem at all. It's not a very healing intensive place. Like I said, typically when you come up against a elite, there's usually only one of them, sometimes two, but there was not very many cases where that was around. So like I said, typically you're gonna be able to just breeze right through this without resting much. So here was a pretty big droid thing that we killed easy. So here we are, the first boss in Hammer Station. It's a giant mining droid thing that you have to fight. Pretty straightforward. He shoots a laser out and it locks onto one person, kind of like a dot, damage over time. Not that big of a deal. It's pretty easy, just tank and spank for the most part. The only thing that you need to watch out for is he will call in droids, as you can see there on the screen. He will he will call in a few droids throughout the match that you're going to want your DPS to tab target those guys, bring them down so that you're not having to deal with tons of them out, because if you played this game at all, you'll know that those little droids that shoot the lightning out at you cause a whole lot of damage. It's pretty insane how much damage, at least on my Sorcerer. They damage the hell out of me, so make sure that your DPS, once he calls those backup droids in, make sure your DPS tab target to those and wipe them, because if you don't, pretty soon they'll start outnumbering you, and then it's going to cause issues, especially if they start going for your healer and your DPS, because it's pretty difficult for the tank to draw aggro on all those guys, especially at lower levels, because I don't think they have much of a AoE AoE aggro. So again, biggest key to this match, or this boss battle, is to tab target and kill off all the adds with your DPS. If you do that, you're in good shape. As you can see, that laser was on me this time, so you can see the dot's pretty intensive for that. So if it's on you, make sure to shield up or heal yourself if you can. But again, pretty straightforward fight, and get some decent loot out of it. Nothing for me, the mage, but hey, it is what it is. So again, you just continue on through. You're gonna come up against random heroics or elites. I forget what they call them exactly in this game, but again, nothing difficult. You should be able to just breeze right through it. And again, a lot of these heroic guys and elite guys drop pretty decent equipment. So here I get a nice new headpiece. All right, on to the second boss. This boss is a little more difficult. You have your main boss, and then you have two side bosses, basically. The best way to go about this one is take out the two minor bosses, and then focus on the main one. We tried to CC one of the outside bosses, but he resisted. I don't know if that was just coincidence or if they are just resistant to CCs in general. If you can, I would suggest trying to CC them. If you cannot, like we couldn't, it's really not that difficult of a fight. Just take out the first ad, then take out the second one, and then finish off the boss. Pretty straightforward. It would be nice to CC one of them just because it's just a little less damage your tank has to take. As you can see there, he's already down to half health. Just because, again, we couldn't CC any of them and had to take all three of them on at the same time. But again, with 4 people in their early 20s, I think the one guy was like a level 17 or something, or 18. And then we had a couple guys that were 20s. Had no problem at all taking these guys down without CCing any of them. That's what leads me to believe that you can't CC him, because our level 24 guy couldn't CC it. He got resisted. So I assume they're just CC resistant, where there's nothing you can do about it. So just have your tank draw aggro on all 3 of them, and then DPS the smaller ads down, and then DPS the main boss. No problem. Once you kill this guy, it goes into you all click on that computer in the back, and you get your first choice as far as light side or dark side, and basically decide the fate of these people. And being dark side, being a Sith, I of course go and kill them. So after that, you continue on. You're gonna go again, meet up with some heroic / elite things here and there. Nothing, no big deal, no big deal. Then we finally get to the final boss in Hammer Station. Forget the guy's name, but a couple things before we get started here. First of all, it takes a bit to get aggro from this guy, so let your tank go in first. Make sure he gets aggro before any of your DPS or healers start. You can shield your guy, or have your guy shielded before he, or your tank have your tank shielded before he runs in, but do not heal him, do not DPS until the tank has a few seconds of hitting on him to draw the aggro. Also in this fight, you're going to see a big red target that launches on the ground. That's where he's going to drop some bombs and stuff. You want to make sure all of your guys are paying attention. If they see that red target zone on the ground and they're standing in it, make sure they get away from it. Do not stand in it. We wiped a couple times because we did not get out of that target in time. Second thing he's going to do is he's going to launch these little green things on people, and it's going to start draining their health big time, so you get the dot on you. That's where the secondary healer comes into play. The dot's pretty strong, so you're going to want to make sure that you have a secondary healer to help clean that up. The third thing he does is he brings these little guys in, these little ads in. They're not very strong, but again, if you let them keep coming and coming without killing them, you're gonna end up wiping too. So make sure that your DPS people tab target off and take those guys out. Once you figure out how to get out of those target areas when he starts launching his bomb stuff, it's a pretty easy fight. It takes a little time because he's got a lot of health, but again, if you can keep your guys to stay out of those red zones, as soon as you see the red zone, run out of it. If you can do that, kill the ads, and then have a secondary healer just help with the off heal, should have no problems at all beating this guy. He's pretty simple. Again, it all just comes down to having your whole team make sure they stay out of the damage areas. Once you do that, you're good to go, and you successfully beat the Hammer Station Flashpoint. Pretty easy. I assume the hard will be the same. I haven't looked too much into that, the hard mode. But once I do that, I'll record that if there's any changes. But I believe the strategy is probably the exact same. It's just more difficult. I plan on doing the other checkpoint or flashpoints here in the next couple days with the. I believe I have 2 more of them available. So once I do those, I'm going to record, and I will try to do another thing. If you guys enjoy this, leave a thumbs up, rate it, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll definitely help out where I can. And thanks again for watching. Peace out, guys.